to this recap video for our Staying Safe on Your iPad session. In this video, we will go through all of the things that we covered in our live session, looking at screen time and how that can be used to help support your child and young person at home. We will take a look at downtime, app limits and restrictions, and then also look at third-party apps like Google Family Link, Roblox settings and YouTube settings to make sure that when your child or young person is using their device at home, they are using it as safely as possible. As with all of our videos, you can pause, rewind and fast forward to the parts that you want to find out more about. So let's get started and see how we can stay safe on your iPad. To manage your iPads, you will need to use screen time, and screen time can be accessed in two different ways. If you have family sharing on your device, which means you have multiple devices, you can go into the settings icon and go to the top under your name where it says family, and then it will load up all of the people who are in your family sharing. Tap on the child or young person that you want to be able to manage, and you will then see it will come up with a graph and the option of screen time in that second block. This means that you can manage screen time remotely without having to have the device in front of you. Everything we will show you can either be done going through this menu or going through screen time that you can find on your app if you just have one device. So we'll show that now. The other way you can access screen time is not through family sharing, where you only have one device. So everything we explain over the next couple of minutes, you can do either through your family account at the top and going to your child or young person and tapping screen time, or alternatively, if you want to do it on your device, if you scroll down and find screen time, on the left hand side, it has a purple icon with an egg timer. You will then be able to access all of your information in here and do your settings in here as well. So within screen time, what you can find is at the top of the screen, there is a graph that shows you your usage. And if you tap on See All App and Website Activity, it will then show you what devices, what apps have been used on that device for how much time. You can then scroll down and have a look. So for example, Roblox, I can see when that has been played. And then if I scroll down, it also gives me information about how many times the device has been picked up, and more importantly, how many notifications. Now, if you're finding that notifications are becoming a distraction or a trigger for your child and young person, at the bottom of here, you can see which apps are sending you those notifications. And if you need to, you can tap on them and then switch them off there at the top, or you can then manage them in that way as well. So that graph at the top is a really good way of being able to see how your device is being used, for how long and on what apps. So then you can then start to make decisions about what you want to do with your device. And to do that, we then come down to the limit usage section where it says downtime, app limits, always allowed and screen distance. Now, screen distance is something completely optional that you can do, where it allows you to be able to monitor your eye strain and just being able to have the device close to your eyes. But let's talk about downtime. So downtime is a way of being able to put your iPad effectively to sleep so that no apps can be used. It requires a passcode, so it's worth setting up that passcode at the bottom of the screen to say that it's something different to the code that you unlock your iPad with. Once you have this, you can then switch it on, and I can just put it on there, and it says it will then go in and remain in there, and only the apps that you say are allowed will be allowed to be accessed. So if I now swipe up from the screen, you can see that if I try to get into Roblox now, I can't. It says my time limit has been done. So if I go back, you can do that and you can put it into downtime at any time, or you can also schedule it as well. So you can customize the days. So here you can see that from 8 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning, my iPad will be in downtime. which means that that device can be in that child's bedroom if it needed to be, but I know that they wouldn't be able to get onto YouTube or Safari or anything like that because I've locked those apps down. And you can customize that time, so you can go into each day, switch it on or off, and then be able to change the times from there as well. As well as screen time, you can also go in and set time limits for apps in the app limit section. You can tap on add limit, add in your screen time passcode, and then choose an app that you want to be able to set a limit for. Tap next, and then you can set a time that you want to do. Now this resets at midnight, and what happens is that when you load up the app, Apple starts a timer in the background, and once it reaches the hour, for example here, it will then put the app into downtime, which means that you're not having to remember to say, right, you've only got 5 minutes left. The app will then do it for you, and you can then block. You can, again, just like a screen time, you can then go in and customize the days and be able to give a flexibility on a weekend, for example, or you can just change the amount of time. And then that app limit will sit on your device and be able to help you manage it effectively. And as it says there, the limit does reset at midnight. So if you wanted to then set it off again, you can then go in and add in and change the app limits when you want to. It's also worth having a look in this section at the content and privacy restrictions. In here, this allows you to be able to switch off the ability to be able to install and delete apps, or be able to have in-app purchases, and also requiring passwords, whether you want to have that or not. You also have the way of being able to have a look at the different categories in terms of being able to have PG and 12 plus on all of the apps that come through on your iPad. So it's worth having a look there as well. And in the allowed app and feature section, this is where you can also switch off some of the apps. So I can actually turn off my mail function on my iPad so that that app doesn't appear at all. So if you find that it's tricky to be able to manage Safari, for example, you can just switch Safari off and it won't then appear on the home screen. It is still on the iPad, and you will then be able to go and switch it back on if you ever needed it, but it won't show if you then switch these apps off. It's also worth having a look down and seeing how location services uses your iPad. And it's worth having a look at just some of these contents just to make sure you are keeping your device as tight and as restricted as you possibly want to be able to do. So you do not maybe want to allow any changes to your passcode and Face ID. So once they're set, they then can't be changed. So you can do that in there. So have a look at that screen time option and look at the features that are available in there to be able to help you keep your iPad safe when you are using it with your child and young person. The Google Family Link is a really good way of being able to manage your Google supervised accounts. You can go into the account and be able to manage screen time, be able to look at parental controls, as well as being able to see any locations. In the parental control section, you will be able to have a look at Google Play and being able to see what you require approval for and what restrictions you have for any content through Google Play. You can look at YouTube, where we discussed in the session how you can change the YouTube settings from Explore More, where it's a 13 plus content or most of all YouTube. And then you can then look at how you can then disable autoplay and be able to have a look at the history as well. You can also go back and have a look at your settings for Google Chrome, being able to block some explicit sites. And you also have other features there, including Google Photos if you have photos saved within Google, and location settings. And remember, you have the link that is the YouTube history, which is myactivity.google.com, and this will then show you what videos have been watched, at what time, and what has been searched for. And you don't need to have the device with you. You can do this remotely if you want to. So this is a really good way of being able to manage what your child or young person is watching on YouTube and use those settings to be able to select that through your Google Family link. So you may want to have a look at YouTube safety restrictions that are through the app if you don't have a Google account or a Google supervised account. And to do this, you load up the YouTube app and tap on your U icon at the bottom, which allows you to tap on the cog at the top right hand corner to take you into the settings. In here, there are a number of settings that will be able to help you, including restricted mode, which helps you to hide potentially mature videos. This is automatically switched off, so you do need to switch this on. And remember that no filter is 100% accurate and it only applies on this device. Another feature that we covered in the session looked at playback and auto-playing videos. This is automatically switched on, so this is something that you will need to switch off, and just make sure that the algorithm does not take your child or young person away from the videos that you may have checked or that you're happy with. So have a look through the menu and just see, do you need to put reminders on in terms of when to take a break? Do you need a reminder about bedtime? And then you can go through and have a look at all of these different settings that will be able to help you keep YouTube safe on your device. And remember, if you have YouTube on your television, you can also do these same settings by going into the settings button on your TV and be able to add in restricted mode and be able to put on that switch off autoplay and all of those different features. When you log into Roblox, it's worth going to the section at the bottom of the screen where you tap More. In here, you can tap on the Settings app, which allows you to be able to access the parental controls on the left-hand side. This then allows you to be able to see how your child is using the device, but at the bottom allows you to be able to manage the content restrictions, spending restrictions, and private servers. And remember, at the More button at the bottom of the screen, there are different tabs to be able to help you, just like the Settings tab, where you can go into the Help and Safety tab, where you can find a wealth of information about being able to help not only from a tech point of view, but a parent safety and moderation point of view. And if you also go back, there's also the Learn section that we talked about in the session as well, where there are featured experiences that have been verified by Roblox that your child can access from an educational point of view, knowing that everything in here has been safe and verified by Roblox to make sure that they are getting the best experience for your child. But if you want to find out any more about Roblox, it's worth having a look at the next part of our video where we talk about how you can get further information about different apps. We are coming to the end of the video now, but just wanted to make you aware of some resources that may be helpful for you to be able to keep up to date. One of these is Wake Up Wednesday. If you search in Google for Wake Up Wednesday, it will come up with the National College site. And if you tap on the link, it will go through and show you all of the posters that they have created to be able to help adults with the knowledge and skills they need to keep up to date with the latest information. You can scroll down here and have a look at all of the posters that are available. So it's worth having a look. So for example, there's one there on parental controls on Android apps that you just tap on download and then you choose the image. It will appear on your screen. And then if you need to save it, you can then save that to your device. There's also ones there, if I just go back, for iPhone apps, being able to go back to school online tips, all of that type of thing. They all work in exactly the same way though. You just tap on them, tap to view the image, and it will then come up with short, snappy ideas to be able to help. There is a wealth of resources on the Wake Up Wednesday website, but to keep up to date, when you join our Discover Digital Facebook page, it's also worth going onto the Wake Up Wednesday page as well, Because what we find is that if anything happens up to date, so for example, Snapchat have recently updated their app. So what they do is they will then post those there. So it's handy to have the website to be able to search for things. But being able to access this on Facebook means that you're going to be up to date with the most relevant information, and then you can go in and it works exactly the same way. So if you wanted to tap on any of these pictures, so for example, if you're looking at one around group chats, you can tap on the image and then you'll be able to save that image if you wanted to, and then use that there. And there are also lots of other resources available to you. Here are just a few of the websites that you may find helpful. The first one is the Safer Internet Centre, where you can go through and find information for parents and for children. You can go through and search by different categories, and there's a wealth of information on there. As is with internetmatters.org, you can be able to find out how to get advice and set controls and activities to do with your children. There's also ChildNet, which is great. There are sections for teachers and professionals as well as parents and carers that you can then go down and get some help and have a look at their resources that are all available there. You do have CEOP, who are the safety centre to be able to support you in terms of child protection. And if you do need to create a report, you can make a report through this website. There's also the links to Childline, and you can look at information either from different age groups or as parents and carers as well. So you'll find there's a lot of information available on there. And don't forget as well, the NSPCC have a great website about keeping children safe online, where it shows you about how you can start conversations, age-appropriate support for using technology, all things around virtual headsets and social media. And what's great is this website is really kept up to date. So it's really worth having a look at that again once every couple of months, just to keep yourself up to date with the latest trends in online safety. We hope you have found this recap video useful. If you would like to attend this session live, please visit our workshop page on the Discover Digital part of our Family Fund website, and you will be able to book a session that works best for you. And we really look forward to seeing you there.